All right. Hey, everybody. I'm Evan. Thanks for joining us here today. I'll be walking us all through CounterGo. Whether you're brand new to the software or just want a refresher here, the goal is just kind of to take everyone from nothing to a polished, send ready quote in a few minutes. By the end of the walkthrough here, you'll have seen kind of the full workflow, from creating a quote, customizing it, generating the final PDF that you can send off to your customer. So let's do a quick run through. This is CounterGo. Right off the bat here, we kind of have a list of all the quotes you sent out over time. So nice way to look back and see who have you quoted and when, maybe who should we follow up with, see if they're ready to buy. Let's go ahead and just create a new one here at the top. So name these whatever you like. You can do standalone if it's just a homeowner, or if it's a contractor, builder, box store, add an account here. So you can kind of organize all your quotes underneath those. The price list here, that's where the magic kind of happens in CounterGo. It's kind of the back end process where you break down, what you want to charge for material, for fabrication, sink installations, edge profiles, basically anything that you factor into pricing. And you can have as many different price lists as you need. Goal being that if you can build that out with the help of our training team, then from then on out, you never have to do any math again. All you have to do is just draw. So pretty straightforward 6-step process here. Step one, we kind of draw out the base design. I'll click and drag a U shape and an island. And then hit each dimension, kind of just adjust it here to whatever you need each length to be. And as we do this, this is going to actively calculate and refine our square footage calculations in the background as we go. And this is fully web-based. So if you ever want to do this on tablets or iPads, works awesome. As long as you're connected to the internet, you can definitely use devices like that in the field. Then we go through and we kind of refine the shape a bit here in step two. So any corner, any edge can build in radius, clip, bump out. All you do is select what you want, type in the radius, and that's going to build that in. And then you can apply that same radius anywhere else you need it. You don't have to charge for those in CounterGo, but if you choose to in your price list, this is automatically going to factor in the pricing for each one of those as you add them in. Step three, we deal with splash and edge. First off, I know waterfalls are in right now, so we're probably doing a lot of those. I'll just build one on the front of the island here. It works the same for mitered edges, but all your sales team, where you have to do, type in the height. What the system's going to do is account for that extra square footage of that apron piece here. And we'll see it on the slab layout here in a minute. It's going to do the linear footage mitered edge cut here. And mine also does an installation charge. But that's all a back-end process. All your team worries about is the height. And that builds it in here. So we've got a top-down view. It's going to show it right there on the legend in the quote itself. Let's do the same for a splash here in the back. 3, 4, 5-inch splash. Can also do a custom height here in the back. And if it's a more complex design, you can also go to step one and manually draw out that splash if you need to as well. All the other Fs here, that's our finished edges, obviously charged by the linear foot or meter if you're abroad. We're going to select those in step 5 when we get there. But here, maybe we say, hey, this left wall's against a wall. Let's leave it unfinished. Or on the right here, we've got a flat polish appliance edge. Step 4, sinks, cooktop cutouts. Click anywhere on your countertop. You can just apply a cutout if your customer is supplying the sink, or add in a sink model. You can custom add those, but we'll also help you build in all the different sink models you sell. So you can just select what you need and drop it into place. Same for maybe cooktop cutout here on the island. Customize your dimensions, burners, maybe add a center line on there. Rotate that thing into place. And then what CounterGo is going to do here in step 6, where it's been factoring out all of our dimensions and square footage and everything, it's going to apply a price for the sink model itself, but also whatever you want to charge for each of those cutouts, all the way down to the individual faucet hole if you want. Step 5 here is where we shift gears a little bit to choose product, color, and edge. We have a lot of product lines built in here. These are just the 5 that I turned on for my demo, and you can always custom add more in as you need. For each of those products, a lot of the most common colors are already in here as well. You can also do price groups or levels. And for each of these, you can dictate whether these are priced by the square foot or by the slab. In this case, I'm going to pick something I know is by the slab. Edges, whatever you want to charge by the linear foot here. And expanding this area down here is probably the part a lot of you are most interested in. Let's lay this thing out on slabs. So you can see from the square footage, CounterGo assumed we need 2 slabs, but this is where we kind of prove it. So we move our pieces around till everything's green so it fits. You can see our 6-inch splash there at the top and our waterfall piece over here. Looks like it all fits, but as we know, sometimes there's movement, sometimes there's veining. So if you want, you can click the dimensions over here. You can always resize the slab, but if you have a photo of the material you want to use, pop that image over the top here. You can actually see what that looks like here. Now, keep in mind, this isn't going to, replace a slab smith, and it's not going to plug into any machinery or anything like that. But when we look and see our waterfall here is not really matching up to the veining on the island, maybe we rotate that piece and watch the image update and move things around as needed. Maybe add seams anywhere you need on here. And they'll snap to those corners as well. And similarly, those pieces that have been cut, now we can move those wherever we need them. This is meant to be used largely for the sales process. So in those instances where the customer comes in and says, hey, we know the square footage, we know this will fit on 2 slabs, you can show them, hey, yeah, maybe physically. But if you want this thing to actually look good in your house for the next 40 years, this is why you guys might want to spring for another slab. And while we've been running through this whole process, and you do get pretty fast at it if you're not talking the whole time like I am, step 6 has been doing all our math. Now, off the bat, you don't have to show all of this detail to your client. This is kind of your back-end view to make sure everything looks right. Here's all our square footages, our linear footages, our details. The underlying numbers are your pricing from that price list that are automatically factored in here now. And you have flexibility. So click any of those underlying numbers, adjust price here on the fly if you need to, and that's automatically going to override it for just this quote, but not permanently on that price list. You can also add in other items wherever you need. So if you want to do demo, tear out, delivery, these are just my examples, but we can help you build in other items if you like. And you can break these out by different rooms or areas if you'd like. Now, let's take a quick look at what an end result quote can look like. This is a pretty common customer-facing quote here. Obviously, you'd have your own logo, your own details. I included the drawing here. I kept the details a little more simple on the quote. I'm not showing all the square footage. I'm just showing the subtotals here by area. You can show line item pricing if you want, whatever you want. We can help you customize this out. And down here, I've got some basic contract terms, but again, whatever you like, we'll help you build this all out. Could be several pages of contract terms if you like. And you do always have the option of emailing this directly to your client. What's nice is every time they click and open that quote, you can see how many times did they view it, when was the last time they looked at it. And when they inevitably come back with you, want some changes, easy. Hit that edit button right there, drops you right back into the drawing, change any of the steps along the way. This is automatically going to refactor the calculations and the pricing, and you can save and make a note about your revision. This logs every version you've ever done. So if they want to see this 10 different ways and say, hey, I liked it the first way, just go back and pick the first one. You don't have to start all over again. And last things are, this does connect with QuickBooks. If you happen to use QuickBooks, that works in a pretty cool way. And yeah, we've got our onboarders to help you when you start with the software, and unlimited training for the duration of your subscription. So we're happy to help you guys with any of the elements of setting up the price list, learning how to draw, getting this all in place.